All right, let's talk about the Magnificent Seven. But we're not just going to list them off. We're going to pull back the curtain and look at the hidden connections that make these tech giants, well, so magnificent. We'll see how they're shaping literally everything we do, and, this is the best part, how you can actually tap into their massive success to build your own long-term wealth.
Okay, so here's our roadmap. First, we'll look at how the M7 pretty much run our daily lives. Then, we'll get into the secret sauce, this thing called the synergy effect. After that, we'll talk about their insane nation-level power. And then, we'll bring it all home and talk about how you can invest in this for a comfortable future. Let's do it.
So let's kick things off with Section 1, the rulers of our daily lives. And this isn't an exaggeration. These companies aren't just players in the market anymore. They have literally become the operating system for our modern lives.
I mean, just think about your day for a second. From the moment you wake up, right, you're probably scrolling through something from Meta, searching on Google, or buying something on Amazon. A lot of us work using Microsoft software. We create stuff on Apple devices, and hey, maybe one day we'll all be commuting in a Tesla. And the crazy part? The engine behind all of this, it's NVIDIA's chips. They're like this invisible force that makes our entire digital world go round.
Okay, Section 2. This is where we get to the real heart of the matter, the synergy effect. See, the magic here isn't just that these companies are huge on their own. Nope. It's how they're all connected. How the success of one actually fuels the growth of all of them. It's a game changer.
So what in the world is this synergy we're talking about? Well, think of it like a flywheel, a powerful, self-reinforcing loop. When one of these M7 companies comes up with something new, it doesn't just help them out. It actually opens up this huge new playground for all the others to play in and profit from.
All right, that might sound a little abstract, so let's make it super concrete. Let's look at what we could call the Tesla effect. Just imagine for a second, a world where Teslas are fully self-driving. You just get in, tell it where to go, and that's it. That one single innovation, it would set off a massive chain reaction across this whole ecosystem. Because suddenly, you and we'd have hours of free time back in our day. We're talking up to 3 extra hours per person every single day. That's not just a little bit of time, that is huge. So, the billion-dollar question is, what do we do with all that new free time? Where does all that attention go?
Well, you guessed it. It goes right back into the ecosystem. All those extra hours turn into more time scrolling on Instagram and Facebook, more searches on Google, and more videos watched on YouTube. And of course, a whole lot more shopping on Amazon. So you see, Tesla's success doesn't just belong to Tesla. It directly pumps up the revenue for Meta, Google, and Amazon. It's a perfect feedback loop.
And holding this whole thing together, powering this entire digital world, is NVIDIA. I love this analogy. They're like the ones who sold picks and shovels during the gold rush. They don't care who strikes gold because they're selling the tools to everyone. NVIDIA profits from every single search, every video, every online purchase. And then they take that money and build even more powerful chips. It just keeps fueling the fire.
Okay, Section 3. So when you add up all this synergy, this interconnected growth, you get something the world has literally never seen before. We're talking about a group of corporations that have the power, the money, and the influence of actual nations.
So let's put some numbers to this, right? Just how profitable is this whole ecosystem we're describing?
Get this, we're looking at consistent annual profit margins between 25 and 30%. I mean, that is a number that most other companies on the planet can only dream of. But here's the key. This isn't just about making a ton of money. That cash flow is a strategic weapon.
And here's what they do with it. They use that incredible profit to build a bigger and bigger moat around their empires. They're constantly reinvesting in new tech, strengthening their platform so we're even more locked in, and expanding into massive new markets like India, Africa, and South America. What does that do? It makes them almost impossible to compete with. The moat just keeps getting wider.
Which brings us to Section 4. Okay, we've talked about their power, their synergy, their dominance, but what does any of this mean for you? Well, this is where we pivot from just being amazed by them to seeing how this can become a personal investment strategy for your future.
So how do you get a piece of this action? The source we're looking at points to a really straightforward way, investing in what's called an M7-focused ETF, an exchange-traded fund. Basically, instead of trying to pick one winner, you're buying a small piece of all of them at once. You become a part owner of this whole powerful ecosystem. And really, this is about a fundamental shift in how you think about investing. On one hand,
You have the stressful, short-term game of chasing volatility, trying to time the market. It's exhausting. On the other hand, you have this long-term approach. You're not worried about the daily ups and downs. You're just investing in the powerful direction the world is heading, a direction being paved by these companies.
And because you're focused on that long-term direction, it becomes a much more, well, comfortable way to build wealth. It's a strategy that's perfectly suited for those big, long-term goals like building up your retirement funds. You can just make steady, regular investments over time without losing sleep over the day-to-day noise of the market. It's about playing the long game.
All right, last section. Let's finish up with one final and I think really powerful change in perspective.
So when you think about everything we've covered, the synergy, the massive profits, the constant innovation, the question really isn't if these companies are going to keep changing our world. The real question is just how much more are they going to change it, and how much more will they continue to delight us in the future?
And that leads us to this really cool idea from the source material. It says, buy even one share, you can become an owner and enjoy the ride. Think about that. The moment you do, your whole relationship with these companies changes. You're not just a user or a customer anymore, you're an owner, you're a participant, and you get to be part of the journey as their growth, hopefully, becomes your own. Thanks for tuning in.